Well, I used to recommend that to people until I found out it was a waste of their money. Glutathione in that form is useless because it simply breaks down in the digestive system. You cannot ingest glutathione to feed it to your cells. It must be manufactured within your cells, and in order to do that, you must give your body the glutathione building blocks it needs.
But Dr. Balch, can't we get glutathione building blocks in our foods without taking Immunical?
Well, yes, you could do that, but it's really not practical. You simply can't get enough glutathione to do you any good just from the food you eat. For example, you'd have to drink a gallon of raw milk to get the same amount of glutathione building blocks contained in one 10-gram package of Immunical. To raise your glutathione level to where it would do you any good, you'd have to consume so much raw milk that you'd have to buy a new and larger wardrobe, probably because of all the weight that you'd gain. Right now, Immunical is the only practical way you can raise the glutathione level in your body's cells.
Well, there's our music. You know, when we come back, we'll talk about how you can protect yourself and your family from germs and viruses. If you've ever been laid up with something the kids picked up at school, you won't want to miss this. You're listening to America's Health Talk. I'm Lee Mirabal. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're listening to America's Health Talk with your host, Lee Mirabal.
We live in a toxic world. Dr. James Balch, author of Prescription for Nutritional Healing, has said that we are living in a world teeming with dangerous toxins. Even though we can't avoid the toxins that pollute our air, water, and food, you can do something about it. When you raise your glutathione levels, your body eliminates toxins that can rob you of energy, mental clarity, and well-being. And the only practical way of raising your glutathione that has been clinically proven and patented is Immunical. To get your full month's supply of Immunical or to get more information, call the person that gave you this CD. There's no risk because Immunical has a 100% money-back guarantee, even if you've used up your supply.
Welcome to America's Health Talk with your host, Lee Mirabal.
Welcome back. My guest is Dr. James F. Balch, MD. Dr. Balch, here we are again. Besides helping us fight free radicals, which is what we were talking about earlier, what else does glutathione do for us?
Well, Lee, let's go baid to the word aid, A-I-D. The I stands for the immune system. Glutathione is an immune system booster. Immunical has been described literally as the food for the immune system. Immunical is the food for the immune system.
Why is the immune system so important?
Well, in my opinion, the immune system is the single most important system in our body. It is our body's first line of defense. It's extremely intelligent. It knows when foreign invaders like germs or viruses are attacking you, and it creates chemical reactions to fight off the infection. That in itself is an amazing fact. But what's even more impressive is that it remembers what it did to fight off a particular infection. So if it attacks you a second time, this infection, all the defenses are already in place, and you won't get sick. That's the whole basis of getting vaccinations, to immunize yourself against disease.
So, doctor, you know, there's always seems to be something going around. I mean, I catch something at work, I feel miserable for a week. My grandchildren catch a bug and miss a week of school, and they give it to me. What's going on here?
Well, Lee, it's partially because we're spending less time outside. Staying indoors is a major contributor to the spread of disease. We live or we work in buildings with central heating and air conditioning, which recycle old, stale air. This means that whatever is in the air is being distributed all over the building. In fact, we now know that the air inside our buildings is far more toxic than the air outside.
That is pretty frightening when you consider how bad the quality of the air here is in Southern California, where you and I live. To say that indoors it's worse is scary.
That is absolutely true, and it's the same thing when you're using public transportation, especially those who travel by air. All that air in that enclosed space is circulated throughout the entire airplane. That's why so many people get sick when they travel. The truth is that it's virtually impossible to avoid exposing ourselves to the things that can make us sick.
So why doesn't everybody get sick when there's something going around? I mean, some people, I look at them, they stay healthy even though they're exposed to the exact same thing as someone who gets sick. So what's the difference here?
Well, Lee, the person who doesn't get sick very often has a stronger immune system that was able to protect him. You simply cannot avoid the harmful organisms that attack your body on a daily basis. And because of that, I think it's absolutely essential that to be healthy, people must keep their immune systems working efficiently. And now, with Immunical, You can do just that by providing your immune system with the natural fuel it needs to keep you healthy.
Well, can't we just take antibiotics to boost our immune system?
Well, antibiotics that's a very great question. You know, a lot of people think that. But the fact is, we've all been hearing about how antibiotics aren't as effective as they used to be against certain disease entities caused by germs. And a lot of that has happened because of the overuse and, in my opinion, abuse of antibiotics. If someone goes on antibiotics and stops taking them because they start feeling better, the germs that weren't killed off are able to build up a resistance so that the drug is not any longer effective. And over time, the antibiotic can have literally no effect at all on the germ.
So what you're saying is that casual use of antibiotics is the cause of many of these super-resistant germs?
That's right. The super-resistant bugs are out there because we use them inappropriately and overly used. Yes, and that's not the only bad thing about using antibiotics. They can also damage normal cells along with the bacteria or whatever the invading agent is. So the best thing you can do to stay healthy and keep the germs from turning into superbugs is to strengthen your immune system.
Dr. Balch, a lot of people are on medication that they simply cannot stop taking. So what about drug interactions? Is it safe to take Immunical if you're on one or more medications?
Yes, it is. You see, Immunical provides only the building blocks from a food or nutrient standpoint, which means it only optimizes the function of the body's cells. This means it does not create any interaction problems with the medication that someone might be taking. All that being said, however, those people that are undergoing immunosuppressive therapy should discuss the use of Immunical with their physician.
Thank you, Doctor. When we come back, you're going to be absolutely shocked when you find out what toxins are in our food, air, and water. Stay with us. I'm Lee Mirabal. You're listening to America's Health Talk.
You're listening to America's Health Talk with your host, Lee Mirabal.
What do all healthy 100-year-old people who are active, engaged, and enjoying life have in common? It's high glutathione levels. Now, if your glutathione levels don't match what these healthy 100-year-olds have, there's a solution for you. It's been clinically proven that you can raise your glutathione levels with Immunical. To get your full month's supply of Immunical or to get more information, call the person that gave you this CD. There's no risk because Immunical has a 100% money-back guarantee, even if you've used up your supply. To order now, call the person that gave you this CD.
Welcome to America's Health Talk with your host, Lee Mirabal.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Dr. James F. Balch, MD. He's a leading expert and researcher in the field of anti-aging medicine. Okay, doctor, we've talked about free radicals. I've learned a lot today. We've talked about antioxidants and the immune system. Now, let's talk about something we hear a lot about these days, toxins in our environment. Is this a real problem?
Lee, just like free radicals and harmful organisms, toxins are everywhere. We can't avoid them. In fact, the FDA is putting out warnings about high levels of mercury in tuna. Air pollution is so bad that reporting the air quality here in Southern California is a staple on the evening news. And water quality is so bad that soft drink manufacturers are literally making a fortune on bottled water. Many people are buying higher-priced organically produced foods because they're alarmed that the pesticides and herbicides and other chemical additives to their foods may be harming them. And that's just starters.
You mean there's even more? I'm already frightened after hearing about the toxins you just mentioned.
Lee, I don't want to sugarcoat it, but it is a fact that we live in a world teeming with dangerous toxins. We cannot avoid it no matter where we go, but we must learn to cope with it.
So can Immunical help us cope with toxins?
Absolutely. Remember AID? Well, the D stands for detoxification. You see, glutathione is a very important detoxifying agent. It helps the body get rid of toxins and pollutants like the heavy metals mercury, arsenic, lead, cadmium, automobile exhaust, and other toxins that are in our environs. And when people rid their body of toxins, and this is very important, when you get rid of the toxins or you detoxify, you typically have more energy and feel better both emotionally and physically.
Are there certain groups of people that might be more susceptible to toxins? Are there, in other words, some people that may be at greater risk than others?
That's an excellent question, Lee. In fact, specific groups of people who are more susceptible than others are the young, growing children and us older folks.